Welcome to a new way to level up in D&D. More classes, more customization, easier multi-classing. If you are looking for a fun twist to character progression, then you are looking for D&D skill trees. If you'd like to learn more, check the description. Otherwise, on to the video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another DST video. Today, we'll be talking about one of my favorite Pathfinder classes that I have kind of brought over into D&D via the DST system, the D&D skill trees system. That being the Oracle. This is a spellcaster that channels either a curse or perhaps a dark magic that they can't quite control through their body, and it harms them in the process of casting their spells, or at least weakens them, but it allows them to cast extremely overpowered abilities, much past the capabilities of any normal wizard or sorcerer. And so the Oracle is based off of the Pathfinder Oracle, but the Pathfinder Oracle is really, really complicated. And it's kind of weak. My Oracle is, I would say, a bit stronger. It's not necessarily the strongest caster in the game. There's definitely stronger ones. But it's way stronger than the Pathfinder Oracle is in comparison to their respective systems. And also my Oracle is dead simple. It is a really simple way to play a powerful spellcaster, and I think the flavor is on point in every moment. But of course, we will see what you guys think about that as we go through the class itself. Now, especially since we just talked about the Dragoon, one of the most complicated martials, and afterwards the Artificer, this is going to be a really short video, and it's going to be really straight to the point, because the Oracle only has about 7 class features. Cursed spells is kind of the main one, and then after that it's mostly caster upgrades and curse upgrades. But let's go through the class. Starting with the starting benefits, if you play this as your main class, you'll be getting a d6 hit dice, which is pretty low, but Constitution being your spell stat means that not only are your concentration checks going to be super nice, but you're going to have a decent chunk of hit points to go with that d6 hit point dice, given that you'll probably be adding either +4 or +5 to every single level hit points wise. Wisdom is a major stat for this character as well, and it is very important. So if you wanted to play this character alongside any other subclasses or multi-classes that perhaps use wisdom, like clerics or even things like shepherds actually work really well with oracles, it actually is a great combo to make. But let's go over the starting benefits themselves, that being 6 plus your Constitution modifier in hit points, 1 hit dice, proficiency in daggers, darts, slings, and that's it, no armor proficiencies. You get wisdom and dexterity saving throw proficiencies, and you do get 3 from acrobatics, arcana, history, insight, investigation, persuasion, intimidation, perception, and athletics. So a decent spread for your skill proficiencies, and you also get a tacked on +2 caster bonus, which notably usually is only a +1 caster for spellcasters, but the Oracle is very, very nice, giving you a +2, even though it also gets the 3 skill proficiencies. And now we'll go over the most complicated part of the entire Oracle class, cursed spells. Now it is a little bit of a mouthful when I read this out, but once you get the hang of this, the Oracle is basically just this feature. All the other features either help make this feature better or augment it in some manner. So Cursed Spells says that you have a deadly, powerful spellcasting trait that can overflow your own body with dangerous energy. You can now cast Cursed Spells. When you cast a Cursed Spell, it will use your spellcasting stat as normal, will not require a spell slot, and will always be upcast 1 spell level higher. The amount of upcast will go up when you receive a +#cursed level feature, and this will allow you to go upcast past 9th level. After casting a cursed spell, you will receive a level of Cursed Exhaustion. This will follow the same progression as regular levels of exhaustion, but after taking a long rest, all levels of Cursed Exhaustion are removed, instead of just 1 like normal exhaustion. So now you may pick 2 3rd level or lower spells from any spell list to be your cursed spells. And if you select a first or second level spell for this, it will first be upcast to third level before adding the extra upcast levels that you get. You do not gain more cursed spells with a plus #spellsknown feature, and will only receive new cursed spells from the Another Curse and Higher Curse features. Cursed spells cannot be temporarily held for later use with items or abilities like Magus Spellstrike, Ring of Spell Storing, or Contingency. And that is the entire feature. So I'm going to break it down slightly more detail. Basically, the concept behind this is that you get to pick 2 spells, and they can be any spell from any list, first, second, or third level. So you could pick, say, Fireball and Burning Hands, or any, basically any spell from any list. I'll just use those as examples because they're good ones. Burning Hands will, of course, be upcast to 3rd level before you start adding the extra bonuses, and for now you only get a +1 bonus to your curse levels. So basically, whenever you cast this spell, instead of using a spell slot, you will gain a level of Cursed Exhaustion. So if we go over here and look, Cursed and regular Exhaustion levels have been written on the Oracle stat just to help keep things nice and clear. So at level 1 of regular or Cursed Exhaustion, you have disadvantage on ability checks. At level 2, your speed is halved. At level 3, you have disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. At level 4, your hit point maximum is halved. At level 5, your speed is reduced to 0. And if you get all the way to level 6, you just straight up die. So, it's really dangerous to go really far, but technically, as long as you're willing to, if you're willing to die, you can cast Fireball at 4th level 6 times at level 1. Actually, at 1 node you can do this. All you need is cursed spells. But of course, we can make this a lot stronger with some of the extra augmentations we can get off the Oracle. But first I'm going to go to the left here and pick up occult spells. I'm actually going to be bouncing around a bit on the Oracle because there's quite a few features that I want to talk about without going fully into any direction. So I'm actually going to bounce around during this center section before I start going down the full branches. But starting with occult spells, we can see that the Oracle currently doesn't actually get access to any specific spell list until you pick up occult spells or mage training. Occult spells says that you'll gain access to the mystic spell list, a +2 to your caster level, and then you'll learn 2 cantrips. You're a spontaneous caster, and you will gain 4 known spells from any list you have access to. So it's just a nice extra bit of caster for you if you want to be even more of a caster with your Oracle. Now, notably, if you wanted to dip Oracle as like a fighter and just get cursed spells, you already got everything you need from Oracle for the cursed side of things. But if you want to be a full spellcaster alongside it, occult spells or mage training is a great way to get there. I'm going to bounce over this way quick and grab a +1 curse level, and this is where we start seeing what the curse really is all about. So now whenever I cast one of my cursed spells, instead of being upcast only 1 level, it will be upcast 2. So if Fireball was the choice I made, it would be a 5th level Fireball. And again, this is 3 nodes. I could do this at level 1. Because again, you get 3 nodes on level 1. So if I'm full Oracle, I could have occult spells, a +2 for my starting benefits, cursed spells, and a +1 to the curse level as well. We're going to quickly grab a mage training to explain the other side of things you can pick up. Mage training just says that you gain access to the wizard spell list, and then you'll also get a +1 spells known from it specifically. So it's a little bit weaker than occult spells, but it leads into a stronger path, so that is why it is sitting there. After that, I'm going to now start actually going down the paths properly, starting with a +1 caster here, an ability score improvement, and then pick up refocus. This is a very useful feature, and one of the reasons why wisdom is actually pretty important on the Oracle. Refocus says that once per long rest, you can spend 10 minutes meditating to lower your cursed exhaustion by your wisdom modifier. So this is really useful because say you are in a battle and you cast your cursed fireball that's upcast to 5th level 4 times. So you're at cursed exhaustion level 4, which means your hit point maximum is currently halved. Well, you can use Refocus, spend 10 minutes, and assuming you have a Wisdom modifier of, say, +3, then you'll be able to reduce that down to just Cursed Exhaustion level 1, which means you only have disadvantage on ability checks, which is a lot better. And it allows you to keep casting those cursed spells during the next combat encounter you get to before you long rest and remove all the levels of Cursed Exhaustion. After that, we'll pick up a +2 to our caster level. And we can go left here to grab a feat. After that, we grab Curse Reduction. This is nice. It says that when you hit 6 levels of Cursed Exhaustion, you no longer die. Instead, you gain a level of Normal Exhaustion, and you will continue gaining levels of Normal Exhaustion if you continue casting cursed spells. So basically this means that now, instead of having a hard cap at 6 being you die if you try to cast your cursed spell 6 times in a day, instead you can now cast 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, 10 times in a day before you start risking death, which is pretty nice. Although notably, if you gain 5 levels of normal exhaustion, you're going to need to take 5 long rests to get rid of that. But if you're willing to go for it, say you have a week of downtime after whatever mission you're currently doing, casting a ton of really high-powered, destructive spells can be really useful. Also, notably, your cursed spell can be a concentration spell, which means you could cast it and then concentrate on it until it's broken, which is a lot harder to do given that Constitution is going to be one of your highest stats. After that, we get a +3 to our cursed level. Now, this is only seen once on the entire class, is a +3 to your curse level. Most of them are +1s or +2s, but this brings us from a +2 to our curse level to a +5. So now we'll be casting that fireball at 8th level every time we want to. And yeah, it's a level of exhaustion to do so, but sometimes that might be worth it. Again, we are not that high level of character. We're only a 5th level character right now, and we did not gun it this way. We took a few extra nodes over here. You can get this online by level 3 if you gun it there and take the push feat at least once. But let's go down this right half of the center, which gives us another +1 to our curse level. That fireball is now a 9th level fireball. And again, we are only level 6. We could also get a +2 to our caster level, and past that is another +2 to our curse level. Again, this is what I was talking about earlier in the video, where I said the Oracle is really simple. It is not a complicated class. It is very simply just a basic spellcaster. You have access to spells, but you have a little bit of flair in the sense that you can really drain your own potential later on in the day by casting these cursed spells. And now with another +2 caster, our cursed spell will now begin cast at 11th level, which is sick. Probably time to go on one of these other paths that I skipped out on at the beginning. Let's take the left half first. Grabbing a feat, there's a little offshoot here to grab a +1 to our curse level, bringing it to level 12. Another +1 to our curse level, that's level 13. We can grab another curse off to the left here. This says that you can add another 3rd level spell from any spell list you have access to your cursed spell list. So again, when we got cursed spells, we got to pick 2 spells, and they could be levels 1, 2, or 3. This one specifically has to be level 3, and it has to be from a list we already have access to. So it's a little bit more restrictive, but now we can have 3 options instead of just the 2 that we picked at the start. And off of that, we can grab another +2 to our cursed level, so now it is a level 15 spell that we're casting. After that, we'll grab a +2 to our caster level, and we can grab empowered cantrips. This is a feature that a few different skill trees share. The cleric comes to mind. I'm almost certain that they have this as well. But it says that we can add our proficiency bonus to the damage of cantrips that we cast, which is actually really nice. I can very easily see a warlock wanting to dip oracle or cleric for this feature, because giving extra damage on your eldritch blasts is pretty nice. But you could also just pick up Warlock as your subclass for Oracle, and be Eldritch Blasting yourself, along with using those cursed spells, which is actually a pretty nice flavor dip when it comes to the Warlock Oracle kind of theming. They both have a very similar theming. It's just that the Oracle really goes into the fact that this is hurting me to use the abilities. Continuing forward, we can get a proficiency bonus increase, and we can grab another +2 to our curse level. So now we'll be casting that spell at 17th level. At 17th level, Fireball does 26d6 fire damage. That is a lot of damage that you can just consistently pump out as long as you're willing to take damage. Now, we're pretty high level at this point, and we have taken a lot of the curse level increase features already, but this is the kind of power that you can have as an Oracle as long as you're willing to be sacrificing your own well-being in the process. Because again, every time you do that, your curse is getting higher. And whenever your curse goes higher, you get closer to literally killing yourself by casting a spell. There's also an offshoot over here to grab a +2 spells known, and then we'll go down the other section on the left half, starting with a +2 to our caster level. You'll note that there's almost no synergies for normal spell casting. The Oracle is all in on the cursed spell combo. So if you want to be a normal spellcaster that has a little bit of Oracle, I'd recommend either taking it as your main class for the Constitution spell stat, and then mainly subclass leveling with like Wizard or Sorcerer or something else. But going full into Oracle can be a really interesting playstyle as well, because you'll need to manage your own health the whole battle. After that, we can get another +1 to our curse level. That's getting upcast to 18th level now. 2 extra spells known on this little offshoot. You'll note that there is quite a lot of spells known offshoots across this entire thing. 4, in fact. That is because, again, if you want to go all in on the curse type spell casting, you can ignore these spells known and just basically know almost no spells. Basically be a one-trick pony in the sense that you cast this spell, it's your thing, and every time you cast a spell, you don't even have to tell your DM what you're casting, because he's like, I know you're casting that spell. It's the only thing you ever cast. After that, we can pick up a cantrip. Again, you're not getting a whole lot of cantrips. You are getting a decent chunk of caster levels, and so if you go full class Oracle and never pick up any other caster levels from feats or anything like that, you will not be making it to 8th level spells. 7th level is the highest you can get, but of course you can subclass something else in if you want to get higher. But the Oracle is indeed a full caster in the sense that it is going to be giving you a lot of caster levels, despite the fact that it is very high into this curse level features. After that, we will pick up Well Rested. Now, this is a feature that can be really useful, especially if your DM uses a lot of combat encounters and every single day you're doing something. Well Rested says that when you finish a long rest, remove 2 levels of exhaustion instead of only 1. Now, this does almost nothing for cursed spells, because cursed exhaustion already goes away completely whenever you take a long rest. But if you've got curse reduction, so you can start, using exhaustion levels as well as cursed exhaustion levels, this is nice because it means that it'll get rid of your exhaustion faster. And also, being able to remove extra levels of exhaustion if it's used often by your DM can be really nice. Off that, we can grab a proficiency bonus increase, and then we can also grab Muster Livelihood. This says that you've learned to deal with the constant exhaustion your spellcasting afflicts you with. You can now remove a level of curse exhaustion when you take a short rest. Also, your speed is no longer reduced to 0 at level 5, but instead just halved again. And that is for cursed exhaustion and regular exhaustion. So basically, this would be how the pattern would go for you if you're spamming your cursed exhaustion all the way into regular exhaustion levels using curse reduction. First, you would have disadvantage on ability checks. Then your speed would be halved. Say you have 30 feet, so you're down to 15. You then get disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws. Then your hit point maximum is halved. After that, your speed would be reduced to 0, but instead it's only halved again. So you're down to half of 15, which is technically 7.5, probably rounded down to 5. And then instead of dying, you start gaining regular levels of exhaustion. You can't have double disadvantage on ability checks, so that doesn't do much. The next speed reduction probably puts you at either rounded down to 5 again, because half of 7.5 is 3.75, I believe. Maybe your DM rounds it up to 5, otherwise you have 0 speed. After that, you have disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws again, so nothing happens. After that, your hit point maximum is halved again, so you've got a fourth of what you would normally have hit point wise. Then your speed is reduced again, so at this point you definitely can't be moving. And then after that, you actually do die, because regular exhaustion does kill you. But yeah, if you go through every single level of that, you've cast your spell 11 times. And again, right now it's being upcast to 18th level. I think you probably killed whatever you were facing before you reached death. Unless, of course, the thing you're fighting kills you, because again, you're reducing your own hit point maximum if you do this too much. Anyway, let's move on to the right half, starting with this path here to grab a +2 to our caster level, and then we can grab another addition of another curse. This again is giving us another 3rd level spell that we can pick from a spell we have, or a spell list we have access to, and add it to our cursed list. We then get a proficiency bonus increase, and another +1 to our curse level. We're now casting at 19th level. An ability score improvement over here. And we can also grab the offshoot of another +2 spells known, or grab Higher Curse. Now, Higher Curse is interesting. It gives us the ability to add another 4th or 5th level spell from any spell list that we have access to our cursed spell list. Again, this is getting upcast 19 times, so you could pick like Cone of Cold and upcast it 19 times, but notably, casting this spell will increase your cursed exhaustion by 2 instead of just 1. So at first, this might seem like kind of like a bad deal, because casting 2 fireballs, like one turn after another, is giving you 2 levels of cursed exhaustion, whereas casting 1 Cone of Cold is giving you 2. That seems like a bad deal, but notably, Higher Curse allows you to ramp out even stronger spells faster. It's only 4th or 5th level, but 4th or 5th level is way stronger than 3rd level. So keep that in mind when you're building these. And again, they're fully upcast. They're not like reducing it by the fact that they're 5th level. It's fully upcast afterwards. And as long as you're willing to take those extra 2 levels of cursed exhaustion instead of 1, it's probably worth it. After this, we can grab a ability score improvement and another +1 to our curse level. It's now level 20. We're upcasting our spells up to level 20. We then get a +1 to our cantrips, the second one in the entire class, and then we can grab Excess Curse. Excess Curse says that after taking a long rest, you can prepare one of your cursed spells ahead of time. Pick one of your cursed spells. You can cast it once per day without gaining 1 level of cursed exhaustion. So again, this very much leans into the side of the Oracle being a one-trick pony, in the sense that they kind of use this spell constantly. So this basically gives you 1 free curse casting without gaining 1 level of cursed exhaustion. So if you're picking your higher curse for this situation, it still gives you 1 level of cursed exhaustion. It just wouldn't give you both of them. After that, there is a 4th offshoot that gives you a +2 spells known, a proficiency bonus increase to the right, a +2 caster, and we'll finish off the entire class list. This might be the fastest one I've ever recorded, with a +2 curse level, which means that our spells, that our curse spells, if we max out Oracle, can be cast at level 22. A level 22 fireball, deals 30d6 damage. The average damage of 30d6 is 100. It's actually 104, but and you can just spam it. Now, notably, Fireball is like the most basic spell that I can think of for this example. It's any first, second, or third level spell that you can pick for this curse spell. And then if you have higher curse, it can be a fourth or a fifth level spell. The options are like, there are so many options. And again, you can pick these from any spell list you want at the beginning of the game. The first two you get to pick from any list. After that, higher curse and your two instances of another curse have to be from spell lists you do know, but the first two you get to pick are any spell. So before I finish this class, I just want to bring up a few random examples I just grabbed because I just want to show how different oracles can feel totally unique, and it's totally based off what curse spell you pick. So I just grabbed a bunch of random spells. None of these are third level, by the way. I just picked a bunch of second and first level spells. So here's an example. Be an oracle that heals your party. Healing Word. It heals 1d4 plus your spellcasting modifier to a creature that can hear you within 60 feet. And if you cast it at a second level or higher, it gains an extra 1d4. If you're casting this at level 20, if you're using this, you'll be giving whoever you just used Healing Word on an average of 50 hit points. And again, you can throw this thing out 11 times as long as you have curse reduction, without having to worry about dying to your spell casting. 50 hit points with your bonus action. Here's an example of an interesting one. Aid. Aid says that your spell bolsters your allies with toughness and resolve. Choose up to 3 creatures within your range. Each target's hit point maximum and current hit points increase by 5 for the duration, and the duration is 8 hours. And when you cast a spell using a slot level 3rd or higher, the target's hit points increase by an additional 5 for each slot level above 2nd. So if you cast this at 20 level, level 20, your team is getting 200 hit points. You're giving out 200 hit points. 200 hit points. 200 hit points! Aid is actually a crazy one, by the way, having an oracle in your party that's high enough to cast like a super high level aid. I mean, notably, if you upcast this to like level 8, you're still giving out 40 hit points to 3 creatures, which is like sickeningly high. And again, you can just do this before the start of combat and refocus afterwards, and you get rid of most of your exhaustion anyway. But here's another example. Just a random spell that most people think is kind of bad, Acid Arrow. It says a shimmering green arrow streaks toward a target within range, and it bursts in a spray of acid. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 4d4 acid damage and immediately takes 2d4 acid damage at the end of its next turn. On a miss, the arrow splashes the target with acid for half as much of the initial damage and no damage at the end of its next turn. But again, when you cast this at 3rd level or higher, both the initial and later increases by 1d4 for each slot level above 2nd. Cast this at level 10 and you'll be getting an average of 35 damage from the initial and 27 damage for the second hit. Again, only half as much on a miss, but that's just a random crappy spell that nobody even uses. Here's an example. Scorching Ray has a 120-foot range, and when you cast it, you create 3 rays of fire that hurl them at targets within range. You can hurl them at one target or several. You make a ranged spell attack for each ray. On a hit, the target takes 2d6 fire damage. But when you upcast this, instead of doing more damage, you target more creatures, or the same one multiple times extra. And it's 1 additional ray for each slot level above 2nd. So if you cast this at 10th level, you'll be making 11 attacks. Mix this with Mark Prey, so you'll be doing an extra like D4 and a D6 if you've got Fry Prey on top of it, and you'll be doing so much extra damage. You mix this with Hex, Mark Prey. I mean, there's so many ways to double down on extra damage from doing a bunch of attacks. This is crazy. Have a monk in your party that has the Tiger Fist so that they can force targets to start bleeding, and then you hit them with 11 attacks, that enemy's dead. I don't care if it's a boss. And the final one I want to bring up is Armor of Agathis. I mean, come on, it's so obvious that Armor of Agathis is really good for upcasting. That's why it's on the Warlock spell list, because Warlocks, upcast their spells really easily. If you upcast Armor of Agathis to level 10, you can't upcast Armor of Agathis to level 10, and you'll be dishing out 50 damage every time something hits you. And you have 50 temporary hit points, so it'll probably be quite a lot of hits before you lose all of those. And even if you get like swarmed by a dragon's multi-attack, they're taking like 150 damage if they hit all 3 of their strikes. And then maybe your armor will be gone. And if it's not, the next hit will be another 50. Like, there are so many fun and unique spells that when upcast to level 7, level 10, level 15, level 20 even, are so interesting and cool that I really think the Oracle is super customizable based off of the fact that their customization comes from your spell choice. In what spell do you want to really be your spell? The one that you cast every day, all day long. If you are not the type of player that likes casting the same spell over and over again, don't play an Oracle. But I love that concept, and I love the Oracle. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked watching. If you did, please give me a like and subscribe for more. I'll be going through all the classes that I've been talking about recently. And sorry that this one was a bit of a short one, but again, the Oracle, pretty simple class overall. But anyway, I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and goodbye.